Live from the Panera Studios, it's the Reading with Robin show, brought to you each week by my friends at Panera Bread, where 100% of their food is 100% clean. Everything from their delicious soups, the broccoli cheddar, the vegetarian creamy tomato, and the bistro French onion soup, to the satisfying sandwiches, roasted turkey and avocado BLT, or steak and arugula sandwich. And don't forget about their fresh brewed coffee and their bottomless mug. Panera is a great place to meet friends or get some work done. That's where the bottomless mug comes in. It's all at Panera Bread. And now, enjoy the show.
It is always a treat to talk to my dear friend, Brenda Janowitz, whether we're talking about, we talk about everything. Mostly books, everything. Mostly books, but then we just branch out all over the place. Brenda is the author of The Dinner Party, Recipe for a Happy Life, The Lonely Hearts Club. I won't go through all of them. You can find out all about Brenda on BrendaJanowitz.com. Follow her everywhere she is, you want to be, because you're just so much fun, Brenda. And
thanks, Robin.
You're welcome. 26 brilliant books you should read this spring. I adore anything Brenda writes, and when she does the PopSugar list, I am like, what did Brenda pick? What did Brenda pick? And so here to talk about the 26 brilliant books you should read this spring, my guest and dear friend, Brenda Janowitz. Welcome back to Reading with Robin.
You. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. People really do. It's a highlight looking forward to your list.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's a highlight for me doing them. It's so much fun when I switch over to the next list, just like we were talking about. Now I'm ready for summer. It's kind of fun. It's, I've got the shelves going in my library. It's spring,
always
summer.
Right. You're always like thinking ahead and planning ahead.
I am.
And actually, to give the Reading with Robin audience a little bit of, we don't have the video going here. Maybe we should do that at some point. We can do that on the Blue Jeans app. Yeah, my sister was telling me about that. I'm like, not another app. Then I have to remember my iTunes login.
That's right.
Which changes somehow. I
know.
know. I'm sure I have an update that I need. So what's like a typical day in the life of Brenda receiving books? What is your process? How does this look in your home? I gotta know.
Yeah, it's a little crazy in my home. So I get approximately 5 books a day from various publishers and publicists. So it really adds up over the week, and sometimes it's a lot more than that, especially when we get closer to pub dates and stuff. So I'm getting advanced copies, I'm getting completed books, I'm getting a little of everything. And I do a few different PopSugar lists. So my big ones are the seasonal roundups, and those are the women's fiction lists. It's sort of like books that women will love to read. Those are my real big lists. But I've also done young adult lists. I did a roundup of scary books, which was a lot of fun. So I'll always do little smaller lists too. So I get a really wide variety of books. So I recently got a children's book. I haven't really done any children's lists yet, but I do post the ones that I like on social. And my kids are 5.5 and 7.5, so I test them out of my kids. And if my kids like them, I post them on social, and I post a little something about those too. But
what's better than that?
It's great.
Kids need to really help out in a family. I feel like,
come on, pull your weight.
We take care of them. We do so much for them, and a little bit of test marketing on children. I think that, I think it's really good for them to contribute and participate in the reading venture. So I like that. It's a great audience you have.
They love it. They love it. Although I will say my 7.5-year-old is a little confused about the galley to completed book process because he read an advanced copy of Jake the Fake by Craig Robinson, which was great and hilarious and so much fun. And then we got the complete, and he's recommending it to people, and the librarian's like, what is this book? What is this book? So finally we got the completed copy, and I said, okay, now the book, it's finally coming out. He's like, no, we read this a month ago.
Oh, that's funny. They should give him a little corner at your library or something.
I should.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun. That's a really good idea. But now most of what I'm getting is books for summer. So we were just talking about the Jane Green book that we're excited about, The Sunshine Sisters.
So excited. That one is just a winner, June 6th, and it's Jane Green just like you'll love to see her.
Yeah.
My book looks like I spent the afternoon with it and just also maybe took a little bit of a nap somewhere, curled up on it, and then finished it.
I love that.
well, that was really good.
That's great. That's great. I actually brought Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinkey's The Good Widow with me on my Florida leg of my book tour.
Yeah.
And that one sort of looks like that. It went through the airport with me. I read it on the plane.
A little bit of water from the pool.
Yeah.
Pass it around. Let people look at it. That's right. You were just on tour. So this is a very long tour. I mean, the book came out last year.
It came out last April, so we're almost at a year, and I still have events, which, I mean, I'm so appreciative, but I'm also very tired.
It is tiring. You have wonderful energy, but the dinner party, and we did the podcast probably last April, and you can still find it on iTunes. Scroll back, and you can find a lot of Robin and Brenda on there, but that book was... we were just talking about it, and when bookstores are sort of doing like holiday, it's a book for all time, but certainly Passover is coming up, and it's just one of those family drama. I mean, because I remember it, and so we both read a lot of books, so when you really remember a story and the humor and the situations that were happening around the table and all the little side stories, it's a winner. And so you're welcome. That looked like an amazing event in Florida.
Well, I had 3 events in Florida. So
okay. I saw one with a lot of tables. Maybe, I don't know which one that one was.
Yeah,
I had or something.
Yeah, it was 3 different events. The first one was Boca, then I was in Palm Beach, and then I did Delray. And I think the picture with the tables, I think, was the Delray event, which was so much fun. But, it's funny because we're on a snow day now. It was the last storm. So my husband had called me in the morning. He said, you better change your flight. You've got to get home before the storm. So I tried to sign all the books before the event. And the organizer, she was so sweet. She said, no, just go catch your flight. Don't worry. We don't need the signed books. And I said, no, I'm signing the books. And it was like 230 women or so. Like I said, I'm signing each and every one of those books. And I did it.
Right. That is right.
Yeah, I think when you come to one of these events, you want your book signed. Yeah, it makes it a little more special. And
there's nothing like a signed book.
That's right, especially if you want to give it as a hostess gift.
Yes. It's a great gift. And you have signed, speaking of that, you were telling me, if people are interested in signed book plates for the dinner party, they want to bring a gift to someone's house or birthday gift or, any end-of-the-year gift or just, my favorite are just for no reason type of gifts.
The best
How do people get, email you to get a book plate?
Yeah, that's right. On my website, there's a form, or you could just shoot me an email, BrendaJanowitz@gmail.com, and I'm happy to send those. Yeah, I've been sending a bunch of the book plates. They're fun because you get to put them in the book, and it just makes it more personalized.
I think you should take advantage of everything an author is willing to do to get their book out there and make it more special because people really do appreciate that. You put a date on there. They remember when they received it, who gave it to them. Makes it more special. Put a pair of candles with it and maybe some cocktail napkins.
See, this is why all of your book posts are always so gorgeous on social media. You've got the candle.
Thank you.
You got it going on. I like it.
I like that. Well, I have to say, kudos to my daughter, Emily, because I aspire to do the type of posts that she'll be proud of because it does make a difference, because I never really looked at them the same way, but now that we spend so much time on social media, and you see especially Instagram, that the pictures are important, and I see what she sees more. And so, it's nothing like learning from our children. There's so much to learn. And when I do one that's really meets with that stamp of approval, it makes me feel even better about myself. Who doesn't want that? So, and on the phone, Brenda Janowitz and I will get to her spring list. We're talking about books and Florida, and we have, we're both in the Northeast. We have snow coming.
Yep.
You'll be hearing this on the big snow day. It'll be Tuesday, March 14th, and there's just nothing there. Did you go to the supermarket? I grew up on Long Island, but I don't remember the craziness that we have here in New England. What's going on?
Oh, it's pretty crazy here.
Is it? Good.
Yeah. And the funniest part, here on Long Island, everyone's busy buying loaves of bread, but no one else here eats bread, so I can't figure it out.
Of course they don't. You just have to have it. I went and got it, too. We went last night. My son picked up potato bread. I don't even know what that is.
It's delicious.
Well, of course it is. It's potato and bread.
I've
tried it. We're familiar with it. We're intimate, Brenda. But the point is, like, well, I don't even know. We don't keep that, you know. And then I went out to the market this morning. You can see I posted at 7:00 just because I was up, so why not? Right. And I got rye bread. So we had 2 loaves of bread. And I got English muffins. It's crazy.
You're super prepared. I like it.
I am super prepared. It's just ridiculous, but that's funny. The Long Island bread migration.
It just cracks me up.
I know. There's just something about it, though. I mean, there's an excitement, and I think really what it comes down to is that everybody will be snowbound, because really what we want is we want somebody to say it's okay to stay in, curl up, do what you just want to do, and not be running around like a lunatic. And that's why we love our books.
That's true.
I mean, everybody is posting that they're going to the library. I have people coming by to pick up book supplies.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and if people get stuck and they can't get to their libraries, locals will come to me. I counsel people through this process, and I'm happy to share.
You'll get them through the snow day.
Absolutely. So what do your boys like to do? So what, will you bake with them tomorrow?
Oh, we always bake, and actually the funniest, their favorite chocolate chip cookies come from Jane Green's cookbook. We were just talking about Jane.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah, I always send her a message on snow days. I'm like,
yes, I've seen you post about it and tag her. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we always bake, and we always cook. We always have something going on. My kids are very active. I have 2 boys, so at some point I will be out in that snowstorm with the snow pelting my face, trying to build a snowman. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, and then they change. They come in and out, little wet boots.
Lots of hot chocolate.
That's the best part. That is. I did a hot chocolate marshmallow giveaway last time, and I took a picture. Yeah, I went out into the snow. The things I do for my readers, Brenda.
I mean, really?
Into the snow, one shot. I bent down way low to get the right angle because I was doing one take. It was a really heavy wet snow.
Oof.
It's a really great picture. So I've already done that. I can't do that one again. But I actually, if you're listening to this today, and it's Tuesday, March 14th, I'm doing fun giveaways on the Reading with Robin Facebook page all day long.
I can't wait for that.
There's going to be an online party, all day long. Some really good ones. So let's get to PopSugar. Now, how long have you been working with PopSugar?
Oh, a long time. How long?
I was just thinking, it's been.
Yeah, it's been about, I want to say about 2 years now, because I started with them before my book came out. And my book came out a year ago so maybe a year and a half.
A lot of lists.
Time flies when you're having fun, you know?
It really does. And go to PopSugar.com, just go to PopSugar.com and check out their amazing site. And I learned about them through you. That's how I first found out, and then got to chat with Lisa Sugar, Power You're Happy. What an amazing book. All makes
She's
sense.
just an amazing person. Yeah.
Met her through you, and I really love to thank people who introduce me to somebody or make me aware of something, whether it's a book, a movie, a person, and say thank you for that, because I don't know where I was that I didn't know. Well, I think I'm older than their demo, so that's why.
Yeah, me too.
I skipped the demo, but I always find things that are relevant because I'm young inside. And so go to PopSugar.com and search for Brenda's columns, and you'll see all of the great, because everybody can't read everything the second it comes out.
That's right.
So, you missed a really good one a year and a half ago.
Exactly.
So go back and print out all of Brenda's sheets, and then just go to Goodreads and load it up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're welcome. So what's on the top of your list is actually Jamie Attenberg's All Grown Up.
Yeah,
and
this was a great one.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's getting so much attention now, which is great. And she's actually on tour right now. So
all over the place. Is she coming to Long Island? I don't remember.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not many people come to Long Island.
Oh, they don't still come to book review?
People come to book review, and now Carol Honig's got the wonderful Turn of the Corkscrew, and she's getting a lot of great people.
Great. Okay, good.
But I don't think we're on Jamie's tour this time around. But there's always next time.
Well, she was in Brooklyn 3 times, so I guess that'll keep you out from Long Island. But go to JamieAttenberg.com and see. I know she's with Jen Weiner. I don't know when. Maybe right this second. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was last night or tonight or something.
Well, there you go.
But this book is so much fun, and it's actually perfect for a snow day because it's a short read. It's not a very long book, but don't be fooled. It's not a simple book, even though it's short. It's really smart and funny, and it's sort of like a must-read for our times now because it's saying something very important about women and our role in society and sort of what happens as we get older. So I really, really appreciated it. The protagonist is single. She's child-free. I'm married and have 2 kids, but still there's really something that I related to about this protagonist, and this was definitely one of my favorites.
Well, and it speaks to a wide range of people, and
yeah.
And I think that one of the things I love about, Jamie's writing just is so deep, raw, always funny, and the interview that she and I did, I guess I posted it last week on Pub Date, and I called it a corgi of a book because, there's a lot packed into that little book, and so, and it's getting much well-deserved praise, and that's All Grown Up by Jamie Atberg. We have 50 books to go through, people, so just...
Talk
you
faster.
Can put us on pause if you like. I'm kidding. But you do have a nice list, and it's hard. And I know you posted, not to bring this down, but you put up a post about people getting a little bit ruffled if they're not on your list. I mean, what do you, how can, and you and I have talked about this.
It's tough.
Impossible.
I got really vulnerable on social media last weekend, and I did that post about it.
I wanted to give you a hug. Oh, I did. I think I sent kisses, but
first of all, I'm a writer, so I'm super sensitive, right? So it's like I want to make everyone happy, and I want to include every book, but you just can't, right? I'm getting so many books a day. There's just no way to include every book. But more than that, I'm really curating this list in a very specific way, and I want readers to have a lot of different things to choose from. So, it's not, for example, just historical fiction. It's not just mystery. I want a little something for everyone because what I realized in these lists, people sort of pick and choose, and different people want different things at different times. So I'm really careful about curating the list so I've got a little something for everyone because just like you said, no one else is going to read 26 books this spring besides me and probably you and a few other people. So they're going to pick and choose their favorites. So you need to have a little of everything.
You have a wonderful smattering of variety, and you really can't. But when I read that, I said, "Oh no, what happened? Who said what to my Brenda?"
Yeah, people get really frustrated. You get the passive aggressive emails and just the passive aggressive comments on social media, and now with social media, there's so many different ways people can sort of touch you. They send you Facebook messages, and it's little notes on Twitter, and there's like no app where they can't send you a private message.
Well, I know that's true. They could be like skywriting over our homes, but I mean that's next. But also the thing is too, once your list comes out, the list is out. So I don't know what there is to really say about it. The list is out, and it really is impossible. And really, that's something that I don't know if men struggle with it as much, and we know the answer is they probably don't. But they
definitely don't.
Something that we sort of take on because I don't know, it's not part of everybody's makeup, and it really is an impossible, task. And your list is. I mean, looking at the list, you really do have you have suspense, you have
literary
fiction,
super commercial. I have a YA on there. Yeah,
you do. I was going to say, I saw a YA. You have some like fan favorites, and then some debuts, and so you really have it covered, and that's what And the other thing too is, can't you just say, Lisa Sugar decides?
I should just say that. I'm going to blame it on Lisa Sugar because no one could be mad at her.
Nobody
she's awesome.
Could be. She's lovely and just so supportive and wonderful. The editor. Where's the editor? Just the editor.
It's tough, and as an author, I get it. There's such little book coverage these days, so it puts us in a position we just so want to be on every list. So it's hard. And then there's also the situation, people who I don't know well are reaching out to me, and it's like maybe they read my list so they think they know me, but I've never met them. And people are sort of like, no, but I retweeted your list. I'm like,
you did?
Okay, it's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
But
what can I do for you? Plan your kid's wedding? It is impossible.
And also, you don't like every book. So, I'm only human. So certain books are going to hit me at certain times of the year, and maybe I just can't read it for some reason, or there's something about it that I just can't connect to, and I don't think people get that. People want their book to be loved by everyone. And, hey, me too, I get it. But, I can't love every book at every moment.
You have to have a thick skin when you're a writer. And just in general, because that's true too. There could be a trigger in a book that somebody would have no reason to know, and nor would it be their business. And also, and I'm talking to Brenda Janowitz, we're whining about the books we love, and it's the PopSugar wonderful Brenda Spring list, and just that idea of not being able to be all things to all people. I've had people say, well, can't you have other people read for you so that you can do more? And I'm like, well, then it won't be mine, and thanks for the suggestion. And and you're right, and also to your point about books being covered, and while it seems like there are podcasts and there are online places that people can go online to find out what to read and things being reviewed, still the ones that people count on and want to be part of, there are far and few between. So
exactly,
I understand, and you're right. There are so many ways to get it at us with the social media poking and pinging and all sorts of noises happening. So next, all right, so you have Dangerous Games. Your interview with Danielle Steele gave me goosebumps.
Oh, it was just so exciting to speak to her. Oh, my goodness. I grew up reading her books, and as I told her, it was almost like this status symbol. It's like, which ones have you read? And this was back when every mass market paperback had a different color cover. So you'd say, I read the pink, I read the purple. And she told me a funny story that fans will come up to her and say, oh, my favorite one's the purple. And she's like, you're going to have to give me more than that. But it's true. That's how we used to identify her books, by the covers. But I mean, it was like a rite of passage. We used to walk around in the school hallways and we'd sort of like read it before class, and we always had a Danielle Steele book with us. So
what do you mean before class?
Okay, well, that's just our little secret.
Oh, yeah, the secret's out. I always read in class. I always had a book going. I did.
But, it was just so wonderful to get the opportunity to tell her how much her books meant to me and what a big fan I was. So that was... I really
enjoyed
great.
that. And that's up on PopSugar. So go to popsugar.com and look for the Danielle Steele interview that Brenda did. It was really fabulous. And
thank you.
So what number book is that? You're welcome. Of hers?
Well, we actually tried to do the math. This is her 108th novel, but she's written other books. She's written books for younger readers. She's written nonfiction. She just doesn't stop. So
no, she really
this is her 108th novel.
Wow. Yeah. That is a crazy number.
Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment.
And coming up with the stories and then working on the next. And wow. Okay, so moving along, because this really is quite a list. Exit West. So again, picking something very different, literary fiction with the most gorgeous blue-purple cover. There we go with the colors again. I like
the cover is amazing. The cover is amazing for this. So this book, it's like I wonder if when it was written, I mean, it's just so now.
Yeah.
It's so our world right now, and that's part of what's so amazing about it. And it's another short novel that's sort of deceptively short, but it's not simple.
No.
It takes place in this unnamed country on the brink of civil war, but it's a love story. Two people falling in love sort of against this backdrop. And, God, it's just with the world we're living in now, it's really a must-read.
Very relevant and by Riverhead, and what else do you really have to say? Relevant and by Riverhead. Read it, Exit West.
Yeah.
And, again, all of these are up on popsugar.com. Brenda's column, which came out, was it last week? 26 brilliant books you should read this spring. And you can pick and choose because Brenda has a smattering. So there's lots of different books. The 12 Lives of Samuel Hawley by Hannah Tinty. And you're a big Hannah Tinty fan. I think I remember reading that.
Yes, I love
this new one.
Hannah Tinty's amazing. She's the editor of One Story, which is a literary journal that focuses on, one story every issue. And when I was living in the city, I met her at the One Story readings, and she's just this very generous editor and writer and just book person. She loves books. And I think maybe that's why it takes so long for her books to come out, because we waited a really long time for this one.
Yeah.
This is really epic. This novel's really epic. You can tell from the title, The 12 Lives. In the very beginning of the novel, we learn that the main character, Hawley, has all these bullet holes in his body. And throughout the course of the book, we learn how he got each one. But it's also focuses very heavily on his daughter, Lou, and it's really a coming-of-age story for her. So it's sort of her coming to terms with who her father really is and his past. And it's just epic in scope, and it comes together so beautifully at the end, which I think is hard to pull off, right?
Yes, it is, because sometimes you think something's going one way or you don't feel like it was a satisfying conclusion, but when things sort of all come together, it is that's the way you want a book to end. You feel good about it. Yeah,
this was a special one, so.
Not that you want it to end sometimes, but you want it to end where you feel comfortable with it. Should we go through all of them? Almost Missed You. This one, I didn't read this, but it just arrived.
Ooh,
I almost missed it. So I'm excited to have it. That one comes out next week. But
So Jessica Strasser, she's the editor of Writer's Digest magazine. So I actually met her before I really met her, and she was probably writing at the time, but she's a great editor, and now I can say she's a great author. This is her debut novel, and I was joking on social media because this is basically about a woman who's on vacation, sitting there with her pina colada, goes back to the hotel room, and her husband's been kind enough to, put the baby down for a nap, and he'll just meet her. She should stay on the beach. Well, she comes back to the hotel room, and he's gone with the baby. Right. So it immediately, it just sort of like starts at this breakneck pace, and it doesn't really let up, as you try to find out what happened. Where is he? Where's the child? What's she going to do?
Wow.
But I was joking on social media that I read this book, and you sort of get like very anxious in the very beginning trying to figure out what's happening.
Well, and the thought of that.
Yeah, and my husband was late bringing my older son to karate, and I start texting him. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Little did I know.
Send a picture of the kid.
That's right. Little did I know, my son had my husband's phone because they were playing Pokemon Go.
Oh,
so I'm like, why isn't he texting me back? And I had a little joke with Jessica over how I just screamed at him very inappropriately, but it was her fault because I read this book.
Yeah, because you get so engrossed, and then you do our head sort of wanders, and I'm on the phone, speaking of wandering, with Brenda Janowitz, one of my favorite writers, friends, PopSugar.com. Go visit her column, and we're talking about the 26 must-reads for spring. It happens all the time. Amy happening. I didn't get this one. Yo, Amy, I didn't get this one.
I can't believe it. Okay,
I know.
Yeah, so this is a tough one. This is a really tough issue she's handling. But part of what I love about Amy's writing, she takes on really heavy emotional topics, and she does it really well. So this is a tough one. It's about the issue of acquaintance rape, and it's told in alternating viewpoints, the guy and the girl. And I think it's an important read, and it's actually coming out. Did you know this was Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
You were going to say sexual awareness, weren't you?
Well, come on.
I didn't. There's so many months, and there are so many. So it was right. So we're on to sexual assault awareness. Well, I did not realize that. So it's timed because it comes out next week. It comes at the end of the month, then, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, it's an important read, and it's thoughtful, and it gives you two different sides of the issue, which you usually do not see.
Right.
Yeah.
And there always are, right? And so that's the thing, when an author is able to sort of take themselves out of the situation, especially when sometimes it really is, it could be a closed topic, depending on what's going on, and really be able to move their characters around to get a sense of what really happened or how it was perceived. Yeah, and I didn't read it, but I do remember I've read many of Amy's books, and they're just enjoyable reads, and they're so well done, and there is always, the storyline is always very important, whether it was with the sister. I'm just trying to think of some of the ones about the homeless shelter through the years, and we've interviewed. So that one is coming out next week. Mm-hmm. It happens all the time. Great title. And Conviction is your next one.
Yeah, that's
also next week. Next week's a big week. March 28th is a big pub day, apparently.
Yeah, it is. So that's Julia Dahl, and this is her third novel in the Rebecca Roberts series. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting about this, it's set against the backdrop of the Crown Heights riots, and it's such an interesting time. So basically, it's taking place. So now Rebecca Roberts is the reporter, and she gets a letter that says, "I didn't do it." And it's talking about something that happened in the wake of the Crown Heights riots, but no one really wants to help. So this is just like a great thriller, and people loved her other two novels in this series. So, and I had her second one on one of my lists. I think her first one came out before I started these lists, but yeah, it's a Rebecca Roberts novel. But you don't have to read the series to sort of dive right in.
So you can jump into Conviction, and that's the thing about
that's right.
Right, a series. Often there's that standalone. I like to know the whole story, but it is fun sometimes to go back and see what preceded, or depending on if I didn't read this book, but if they're told sometimes as flashbacks or whatever, you can sort of jump in and get a different perspective that it was in the other book. And fans love that because it's fun to pick it apart and say, oh, that's what happened. Well, we have a lot more to get to, and I could talk to you all day long because it's Brenda Janowitz, and find her on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on PopSugar, all of her columns. You pick. I'm instead of going through this list because there are so many of my favorites on here too. I'm going to throw it over to you so you can jump around if you want. Because it will be like a marathon, and we can just do part 2 too. We can do more later.
It. Yeah, it's a date.
Yeah, because then it will be snowing.
Okay, we'll just a few. I'm actually going in order because you got me started on the list. So I've got, and then there was me, Sadiqa Johnson. I loved her first book, which was about marriage and parenthood, and I felt like it was such a real vision of what that part of life is. And I was so excited when the paperback came out. It had a quote for me on the front saying, I loved Second House on the Corner. So now she's got, and then there was me. It's not related to her first novel, but it's in the same space, the husband, the kids, the she suburb, and it's about a character who feels like an outcast. She's biracial in her fancy neighborhood, and she's got a lot going on. But then something really crazy out of the blue happens, and she sort of has to deal with it. So Sadiqa really does this well, marriage, parenthood, and sort of the truth about marriage and parenthood, which I think sometimes gets glossed over.
Oh, yeah. A lot of gloss.
Yeah.
That's a whole other genre, gloss in marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I've got The Widow of Wall Street by Randy Susan Myers.
Loved.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers.
I am too.
She's great. She also really does this well, the emotional, getting to the deep emotions in there. But I feel like this one will be known as the book, the Ponzi scheme, a Bernie Madoff kind of book.
Absolutely.
Right?
hearing about it and and also she's got this great cover. And
the cover's outrageous.
Yes, and she's reading at Point Street Reading Series on April 18th. I'm very excited to be hosting her. Yeah, she does. She really does get at it, and I'm a fan of all of her books. So
me too. I'm
very
a big
excited. The Widow of Wall Street, coming out April 11th.
Yeah, also April 11th, we've got Anita Hughes, White Sand, Blue Sea. Yeah, I'm such a big fan of her work, and I gave a blurb for this book, and I think I said something like, her books always make you feel like you're on vacation, and it's true, right?
Yes,
I always
do. Beautiful
it's so
set
much fun. Yes, you feel like you're wherever she's describing. She's so good at really getting at all of the sensory feels. So she's good at describing food and sort of like your feet on the sand.
Yes,
and
she is. That's a great way of putting it. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. And then this is funny. Going down the list, I've got another Anita.
You do, Anita Shreve. Yes,
yeah,
right
The Stars Are Fire. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like people are going to be really excited about that because she is just such a fan favorite, right?
Oh,
everyone loves her work.
Yes, absolutely. How could you not? I mean, we grew up. I mean, that was. All of those books. So many of her books we were all reading, and Fortune's Rocks is still one of my favorite books of ever. Of that was hers, right?
Yeah, and I love The Pilot's Wife.
I know that one too. That's another one. Where are you? Who is this? That was another big. That was a big book. So The Stars Are Fire, and this is historical fiction.
Yeah,
right?
So this is based on the fires that destroyed this town in Maine in 1947, and it's the story of a woman who she's married to a volunteer firefighter. She has small kids, and then her husband goes missing in the fire. So, I mean, that draws you right in right away, right? It's
Absolutely.
like, will she rebuild? What's going to happen? Yeah.
What,
so this
well,
was a great
she?
one.
Does she? Well, we'll have to find out. We'll have to wait and find out. And that one comes out on the 18th of April.
Yeah, it reminds me of those Time Life commercials where they'd be like, and what's this mystery? Read the book. Remember those?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you got to read the book.
Read the book. And then you've got nonfiction in here, How to Be Married, Joe Piazza.
Yeah, and she's got a book coming out with Lucy Sykes this summer, but this is her. Yeah, and it's nonfiction, and it's about her first year of marriage. And what I love about it, the subtitle is What I Learned from Real Women on 5 Continents About Surviving My First Really Hard Year of Marriage. What I love about this, you know, we talked about people glossing over things. I think no one ever admits how hard that first year of marriage is, and how hard just the adjustment to marriage is. So there's something that really drew me to this book because I really related to it. Getting married is tough, and it's a total life change, and it's sort of like the most important relationship of your life, but it can be hard, right? Sharing a life with someone is hard, and sharing a house with someone is hard, and all of that.
I don't even remember the first year. I just remember writing thank you notes and organizing china that I might or might not ever use. But, yeah, you are just figuring things out. And I really would have to go back because how do you possibly prepare for that? Don't really know. Yeah. And it is could be kind of a crapshoot. I mean, you know, because everyone's on their best behavior before that.
Right.
So this sounds like a really good one. And plus you got to go to 5 continents to do it.
Isn't that so interesting?
I mean, right there. Right there is a win.
I love that.
Yeah, How to Be Married, Joe Piazza, and that one is also April. All right, I'm going to let you roll with it. Next one up.
So we've got Anything is Possible by Elizabeth Strout. And, I mean, what can you say about her? She is just
Elizabeth Strout.
Exactly right. Just say that, right. So
Elizabeth Strout has a new book. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, that's all most people need to know, right?
Of course.
But we all loved My Name is Lucy Barton.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you know, I already said twice about 2 books they were deceptively simple because they're short.
Yes.
And that's the first time I said that about a book when I remember getting it being like, oh, this is, you know, going to be an easy read.
Lucy Barton, right.
Right, and it was an easy read, but it stayed with me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So what Elizabeth Strout said was, she started thinking about these characters that Lucy and her mother were talking about, and she, side by side, was writing this novel because she was thinking about those characters.
Oh, that's so cool. So she was writing
this
side by side while she was writing. Yeah, well, that's the brilliance of Elizabeth Strout. I mean, Amy and Isabel was still one of my all-time favorite books ever. I mean,
she's amazing. But if you don't want something quite as heavy, or I've got Startup by Dori Shaffer. And I'm sure I just butchered her last name because I've only ever read it.
Well, I didn't attempt it, so you did better than I would have.
So she's the culture writer at BuzzFeed, and you know her from a lot of the amazing stuff she's written. Most recently, she did a think piece about Big Little Lies, the new series on HBO.
Yeah,
wasn't that fantastic?
That was fabulous. Yeah,
yeah.
So that was her. Okay.
Yeah, I love her writing, and so I was really excited to get Startup. So Startup is about the startup world in New York City, which also I didn't know existed.
Right, you don't think of it as there, right?
Yeah. So it's a really great novel. It moves really quickly. It's got a bunch of different characters who are living separate lives, and they sort of crash into each other in this startup world.
Great cover.
It's a great cover. She talked online about how someone actually made a diorama, and that's how they created the cover.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, the cover's amazing. The book is so much fun. It's got all these great insights about sort of how we live now. I did for, do you ever do Sunday Sentence on social media, hashtag Sunday Sentence?
No.
So, it's a really fun feed.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, you're supposed to post your favorite sentence from the week. So one week I did this book because she had something so clever about Instagram, and it was something to the effect of, if you don't post it on Instagram, did it even really happen?
Of course not, right?
So the book is filled with insights like that. So
you just
really
on Twitter
enjoyable.
you put your favorite Sunday sentence and then
you do hashtag and you can search for it.
I'm going to play on Sunday. I'm going to try. I'm going to get.
Oh, you've got to. It's so much fun, and I do it on Instagram too. But it really started on Twitter.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Don't confuse me, Brenda. If you tell me it's on Twitter, now it's all right. So it's on Instagram.
I put it everywhere.
As long as I don't have to pin it on Pinterest too. And now, The Forever Summer is your next one by our dear Jamie Brenner. We love Jamie. So
Jamie's the best.
She is.
And I love this novel. I love the cover. And did you get the galley with the pretty spine? With the red and white stripes?
Not only, I do have the galley with the red and white stripes, but this is funny, I got, I don't know, the bound manuscript or whatever maybe came before that last summer. I think I had that last June or July. She was so sweet. She had it sent. And I remember speaking to her publicist, and she said, we won't have galleys until whenever. I said, I read it last summer. And she was like, oh, all right.
I love it.
But but I do have the one I have now because I must have been on that list, is the beautiful, the red striped spine. So, I mean.
So this is a novel about summer. It's about family. It's about the family you didn't even know existed. And it's just a great read. The cover's got a beach on it, a woman reclining on the beach, and it's definitely a beach read, but it comes out in April, so you can get in the beach state of mind in the summer.
Yes, who doesn't want to do that with this snowstorm?
Get ready for the summer now.
Yes, and you got Cape Cod, and it is really, I like that, a summer read coming out in April. It is, it's a standout way to do it, really. So
absolutely.
I like that. Jamie Brenner, don't miss the Forever Summer.
Yes, and it was so heavily researched. Jamie went to Cape Cod a bunch of different times, and the details, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
And a blurb from our dear friend Adrienne Trigiani. Put your feet up, sip a cocktail, and let Jamie Brenner surprise you and delight you with the first great read of summer. Now I'm channeling Adriana's Virginia there. Just happened. Just happened. So that's the Forever Summer. And this Crimes Against a Book Club. What a great title. I don't know this one. Yeah.
And the cover's adorable, isn't it?
It is really adorable. And what's this one? I mean, what a great title right there.
It's a really fun read about these friends who need money. So they create a quote-unquote luxury anti-aging face cream, which... Is it really luxury? Who knows? Who knows why I put it in quotes? But they go off to sell it to these rich women in one of the girls' book clubs.
Oh.
And, it's one of those fun madcap books. So things just sort of go from there and get, like, crazier and crazier. And it's just a fun read.
That's really funny. What a great, Crimes Against, and then you've got Paula Hawkins, Into the Water. Now,
God.
I don't read, this isn't like my genre, so I'm very excited to hear. I didn't read Girl on the Train, so let me hear about Into the Water.
Now, I think this is even better than Girl on the Train. So fans of Girl on the Train are really going to love this one.
Which there are zillions of those. So I'm really excited to share this with my audience via you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I loved it. So it's another thrill ride. It sort of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Every chapter sort of like a different character. It keeps you a little unsettled, just like Girl on a Train, where for a while you're not sure what's going on. So it's about this town full of secrets, and two different women have drowned in the same river, just months apart from each other. But what's more interesting than that, this river is sort of famous for people drowning there.
Wow, that's creepy.
Yeah, and so it's got this whole feminist sort of like theme about troublesome women and what happens to troublesome women. And
they drown, it sounds like.
They seem to drown in this town, yes. But I think it's very now, speaking about feminine power. And, so I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was even better than Girl on a Train.
Wow.
And this is going to be the
everywhere.
book of spring.
That's going to be everywhere. And now this is your Windfall. Is that the YA?
This is the young adult. Yeah, Jennifer E. Smith. And this was such a fun novel. It's one of these what ifs. What if you won the lottery? Mm-hmm. So in this case, the protagonist, she does not actually win the lottery. She buys a winning ticket for her best friend, Teddy, and she's, of course, secretly in love with him. And And, I don't want to reveal too much because it's such a fun read. I don't want to reveal what happens to who, but it's just this great meditation, sort of like, what would you do? How would it change your life? And it's also, it captures so beautifully that feeling of being this age, like about to turn 18 and all the confusion that goes along with that. What are you going to do with your life? And that's part of what I love about reading YA. It sort of takes you back to that place.
Yeah, you revisit that time and that coming of age and the things that you thought and the things that you had hoped and really how much we really ever know about any of that. The Best of Adam Sharp. So this is another big favorite book coming out the beginning of May 2nd.
Yes, people are going to go crazy because this is by the guy who wrote The Rosie Project, which was super adorable. So, and this actually, that's funny because this one is sort of about revisiting your past as well, because it's about a former piano player, and the former love of his life comes back, and it sort of shakes things up. He thinks he has this happy life, but does he? And will this change things? So another fun one in the vein of the Rosie Project. So if you like that one,
very popular. And a lot of people are always listening for ideas for for obviously themselves and the book clubs. We get a lot of people asking about book clubs, and I know the Rosie Project was a big book club favorite. And I'm speaking with Brenda Janowitz, and we're talking about her top picks for spring on the PopSugar website. And visit Brenda at BrendaJanowitz.com. and put The Dinner Party on your list if you haven't read it yet, or give it as a gift for a friend, because Brenda and I have talked about that book. We did our podcast, and it's one of my favorites, and it's just a really big treat of a book. And she's still touring, so you still may get to see her for The Dinner Party. And now another favorite of both of ours.
Yeah.
Saints
this is
for
another
all
biggie.
occasions. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, so Courtney Sullivan, she actually has an essay on the New York Times right now about coming from this big Irish family.
I didn't see it. Was it yesterday? I missed it.
I thought it was this morning. It could have been yesterday, though.
Maybe it was. Oh, if it was this morning, I don't feel so bad. Maybe I saw somebody post something, but I didn't read it yet. Okay. So
well, this is another big family saga about a big Irish family, and it's about the sisters at its core. And sort of what happens. So it spans all these years because you go back and forth. You get to see the sisters when they first come to America and how they came here, but then you get to see them as adults, and one of them has grown children. So I don't want to say more than that because I don't want to spoil it, of course. But this is just one of these sprawling family sagas about how families relate to each other. And for me, it was very similar to Maine, which is one of my all-time favorite books.
I love that book. It's, the minutia of family and just the unspoken, loudest unspoken things ever between family members. And it's just gorgeous. Yeah, nobody does family like Courtney. And whenever I first found out that this was coming out, it was like, yes, because
I know. Me
Maine,
too.
commencement, the engagements, Courtney Sullivan, that's all you need to know. Courtney's got a new book.
Exactly.
Yay. That's all you need to know.
That's how I felt.
I agree. That one's coming out May 9th, I think,
And speaking of people with new books, we have not heard from Plum Sykes for a really long time.
We haven't until now.
And, I was so excited when I got this book because I was such a big fan of Bergdorf Blondes. I mean, that book was just
so fun. Yeah,
it was just too much. So this is Party Girls, Die in Pearls. So it's different. It's a mystery. But it still has that great voice that you remember from Bergdorf Blondes and the cleverness. So, and also this one takes place in the 80s, which, is there anything better than that? No, there is not.
There is not. The 80s rule.
She has such a great sense of humor, and one of the fun things she does in this book, it takes place at Oxford, and, she's English, so she knows all the details. So there's little notes at the bottom, so if she mentions something, but it's exclusive to Oxford, she'll be like, okay, at Oxford University, this happened. And it's just so great because you feel so in the know. Yes.
Yeah, that's really fun. She brings you in and makes you an insider. And that's
so
really
this is
cool.
So much fun. So many people have been contacting me about this. They're like, did you read this one? It's so different. It sounds so different. So, I mean, it is different because it's a mystery, but her writing style, all of the stuff you fell in love with in Bergdorf Blondes, you're going to get here.
You'll appreciate. So Party Girls, Die in Pearls, out May 9th. And we have a few more to get to, so maybe pick like your favorite in the end. I'm sorry. People can go to PopSugar and look at I know. Pick your favorite one of the last you. That's terrible.
That's tough. Let's scroll down to the reminders by Val Emick. So Val Emick, you probably don't remember his name, but you definitely remember him on Ugly Betty. And he also had an arc on 30 Rock. He was like the cute guy Jamie.
Oh, funny, but no, I wouldn't have remembered the name. You're right. But what
Remember that whole thing? You know, he's gay for Jamie.
Yeah.
So that was Val.
There you go. That's Val.
Yeah, so he's a singer-songwriter, and we're going to try not to be too annoyed because he's also an amazing writer.
Wow.
I really fell hard for this book. The way the publicist explained it was that, actually, I think the way it was posted in Publishers Marketplace, I was like first intrigued by it a year ago. It's about a girl who can't forget and a man who's desperate to remember.
Wow.
Yeah, which sounds great. It's like so much more than that. It's so much more than just this girl who has a memory thing where she remembers every day in cinematic detail. And it's so much more than this man who's sort of trying to remember the last days of his partner's life. It's more than that. It's about songs and the power of music, and it's just really a beautiful read. I really sort of was enchanted by it.
It looks like that, and it's a beautiful standout cover. It comes out on May 30th, and we could just keep going and going, but
we could.
Sadly, our time at some level comes to that, and we have more snow preparedness. And I know that I'm glad it's coming out tomorrow on the snow day. People are enjoying. They can, and for more information, go to PopSugar.com and find the article. Brenda's article on 26 brilliant books you should read this spring. Visit Brenda Janowitz on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Sunday Sentences, everywhere. Sunday Sentence, everywhere you want to be, there will be Brenda. And I know we'll come back and we'll talk about the summer books.
Definitely.
And because, we have June and July and August, and just looking at some of we have a lot of the same we love a lot of the same books.
We do.
I will add in The Awkward Age by Francesca Siegel because that one comes out May 16th. That's in there. And Dennis Lehane. Now, I've never read a book by Dennis Lehane before. Don't ask why. It's just true. And Since We Fell comes out May 17th, I think. May of 17th. Comes out in May. And I was one of those books that came and I just sat down with it. And I just had never read any of his books. It doesn't really seem like my, the thriller kind of thing.
Right.
I love this book so much. So people who love Dennis Lehane are going to be like, what's the matter with Robin, number one? And that's a really long question to sort of ponder. But this book is, it's like when I sat down with Jane Green's. It was one of those afternoons, and I just sat down with it, and I loved it up, and it's really great. So, and then another one to just mention, Hala Alan Salthouses comes out May 2nd, and that's one for very different and very important for now, and an interesting take on the Israeli-Palestinian situation. So, Salthouses, it will get people talking. And what are you reading now, Brenda? Like, what's like the one that you took out of your stack that you keep separate?
Well, I just got a copy. This is funny. I'm like a little all over the place with my books right now. I just finished Watch Me Disappear by Janelle Brown, which I was completely obsessed with. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know how you put that down. I couldn't put it down. But I just got a copy of The Chalk Artist by Allegra Goodman, and I feel like I missed her. Yeah, I know everyone's obsessed with her, and I've never read her before.
Oh, I haven't read her in a while. The Chalk Artist, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this one. So that's the one I've sort of pulled out, and I'm really excited about.
Okay, The Chalk Artist by Allegra Goodman. I just made a note. Yeah, I didn't know about that one, but I've read her before. Yeah, and also, before I really let you go, I'm never letting Brenda go, but before I kind of let you go, what are you working on? I got to know.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I'm working on a few different things. I've got a 6th novel going that I'm really excited about.
Ooh.
And I'm also thinking about working on a YA.
Wow.
I always have a few different I always have a few different things that I'm sort of working on at the same time.
I could see that. You like YA. I mean, I love reading YA as well, but I know we've talked about Julie Buxbaum's.
I love YA, and I'm also 15 inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where we remain, because who really gets much past that, and why would we want to at all? So I love that. Oh, I'm excited to hear. I want to know. I don't like to ask, but hey, I like to also share with our readers, because the dinner party was so awesome. I'm looking forward to your next one. And thank you for spending the day with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing what's going on your snowstorm isle, and from Rhode Island to Long Island and back. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and I look forward to the next time. Find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on PopSugar. It's Brenda Janowitz. Thank you.
Thank you.